Greetings. Just yesterday, the Tayo twins put up this community post, and I'd like to jump right in and read the caption and then show the image that was attached to it. It begins, quote, "Every other nation look like their own people, their own kind. Asians look like Asians," end quote. I just wanted to stop right there just for a moment and note that Asia is a huge continent, and the people of Asia run across a diverse range of morphologies. Surely the twins don't think that Vietnamese people and Andamanese people and Pashtuns all look exactly the same, right? But whatever the case, let's continue with the post. Quote, "White Caucasians look like white Caucasians. Short conquistador Asian Mexicans look like their people. Spaniard Latin Hispanics look like their people," end quote. Just want to interrupt one more time just to offer this quick question. Are conquistadors not Spaniards? Or might the author of this post have been really imprecise with their wording, right? Perhaps even a little confused? I'm reminded of the adage that clear writing requires clear thinking. But whatever the case, let's get back to the post and finish reading the text of this caption. Quote, "But when it comes to Israel, according to the One West camps and the Ish people, we look like all nations," end quote. And that there captures the original motivation of this post. You see, it started out as a jab against One West camps, believing Israelites can run across a morphological spectrum, and then the Tayo twins took someone else's polemic against One West and added the part about the quote-unquote Ish people, which is their euphemism for mainstream Jews. And that makes it rather awkward, as the One West definition of Israel is strictly patrilineal, while the rabbinic or halachic definition of Israel is mostly ecclesiastical insofar that it allows converts. Of course, there's talk about paternal descent for Kohens and matrilineal descent in general. But even with the matrilineal descent, you can descend maternally from a convert, from an authentic convert, and that's good enough on the rabbinic definition. So, saying Jews can be morphologically diverse in a rabbinic view is a bit like saying Christians can be morphologically diverse or Muslims can be morphologically diverse. And having said that, let's now take a look at the image which was included in Tayo's community post. Now, notice right away that there's a little bit of a potential contradiction. You remember the Tayu added in that part in the caption about the quote-unquote Ish people to convey that mainstream Jews think that Israel can be morphologically diverse. Yet when we look at the second row of the image, Jewish people are included amongst those who are supposedly morphologically homogeneous. So that begs the question, or it raises the question, which is it? Is the mainstream Jewish world morphologically diverse, or is it morphologically homogeneous? How carefully did Tayu think about this before posting it? And then on the third row from the top, we find Hispanics. Now, another question that comes up is, do the Tayo twins think Hispanics are morphologically homogeneous, right? Let's use an example from the boxing world. Both Canelo Alvarez and Edison Miranda are Hispanic. And for those who don't know, Hispanic is mostly a linguistic categorization, like Arab or English speaker, right? The Hispanic world is like the Arab world, and both are like the English-speaking world, insofar that all three run across diverse ranges of lineages and skin tones and facial features and hair textures. Also, remember when the caption contrasted so-called quote-unquote short Asian Mexicans with quote-unquote Spaniard Latin Hispanics? What was that about if that wasn't intended as an allusion to morphological diversity within the Hispanic spectrum? Again, I have to ask, how carefully did the Tayo twins think about this before posting it? And then you see on the bottom panel, it says Israelites, and a diverse range of different looks and morphologies appears in that image. Now, I'd like to reiterate that this started out as a polemic against One West, at One West camps, and I'd also like to point out that One West groups hold to a patrilineal definition of Israelite, where whether or not a person is an Israelite depends strictly on whether their paternal line goes back to the biblical Jacob. And you know who else used to hold to a patrilineal definition of Israel? The Tayo twins did. On your screen is something Tayu wrote back in 2021 when they were still holding to a paternal definition. Notice it says right at the top, "We believe in patrilineal descent." And then from there, He went on to go into his confused attempt at autosomal math, and that's a topic that might deserve its own short video. But for now, I simply want to note that the Tayu twins once held to a patrilineal definition of Israelite. They later abandoned it, but they should at least understand the implications of such a view, even if it's only their former view. They should understand that a group which is defined patrilineally can be morphologically diverse. Consider, for example, the former New York City mayor Bill de Blasio and his son, Dante de Blasio. Or consider the popular music star Lenny Kravitz and his Ashkenazi Jewish father, Cy Kravitz. Surely the Tayu twins are aware that people from the same paternal line can look differently from one another. And with that in mind, recall that the caption of their post referred to quote-unquote Caucasians. And that raises another question. In what sense did they mean Caucasians? Did they mean that just in a morphological sense, or did they mean that patrilineally? Were they referring to patrilineal Caucasians? Do the Tayu twins consider Dante de Blasio or Lenny Kravitz to be quote-unquote Caucasians? And with that in mind, perhaps we should also ask, might the Tayu twins themselves be quote-unquote Caucasians? How would we know either way unless it's clearly defined? And we could bring up other examples like the basketball player Blake Griffin, and we could compare his son to his father, or we could do the same with the son and father of the popular rapper Drake. The point would be the same in any case, right? And the point is that paternal lineage is not determined by outward appearance, because people from the same paternal line can look differently from one another. And the Tayu twins should know this by now, right? So that raises an interesting and important question. Are the twins still confused on this topic, or were they just trying to emotionally manipulate their audience? And I'll close this video with that question. As always, I welcome any comments, questions, or criticisms, including from the Tayu twins themselves. You see, unlike the TEOTW Ministries, I don't censor anyone here. I don't have to hide my arguments in a heavily censored echo chamber or behind a block wall. So feel free to share your thoughts, whether positive or negative, and God bless.